It is 6 in the morning. You walk into the bathroom half awake, and there they are. A thin brown line of ants coming up out of the bathroom sink drain, or crawling out of that little oval hole near the top of the basin. You grab the spray from under the cabinet. You hit them, they curl up and stop moving in about 4 seconds. You wipe the counter with a paper towel, and you head to work feeling like you handled it. Tomorrow morning, the line is back in the same spot. I have watched homeowners fight that exact battle for 6 weeks straight and lose every single morning. The reason it never ends is simple. That drain is not the nest. It is the buffet. I have been a plumber for 35 years, and I am going to walk you through what is actually happening inside your wall, and then hand you a bait recipe that costs about $2 and takes out the entire colony. Stick with me to the part about big black ants, because if that is what you have in your bathroom, this stops being a bug problem and turns into a plumbing problem, and there is real money on the line. Start with why the ants picked your bathroom sink instead of the kitchen or the garage. Ants need water more than they need food. A colony can hold out a long time on stored sugar, but it dries out fast, so scouts leave the nest every single day, hunting moisture first. Your bathroom sink is the wettest reliable spot in the house. There is standing water sitting in the trap under the basin around the clock. There is condensation forming on the cold supply line inside the wall, and there is a damp film on the porcelain most of the day. Then there is the food. Every drain in your house grows a coating on the inside of the pipe, starting an inch or two below the stopper. In the trade, we call that biofilm. In plain English, it is a slick gray-brown layer of soap scum, toothpaste, skin cells, shaving cream, and hair oil, all held together by bacteria that live on the whole mess. To you, it is grime you would rather not think about. To an ant, it is a protein and sugar counter that never closes and never gets wiped down. So a scout comes through, finds water and food within 6 inches of each other, and walks home. On the way, she drags the tip of her abdomen along the surface and lays a chemical trail, a pheromone line the other ants read with their antennae. Within 2 or 3 hours, that trail is a highway. What you are watching on your counter at 6 in the morning is a supply run, and it is running on a schedule. Now, where are they coming from? Almost nobody believes me on this one, but they are not climbing up through the sewer. The trap under your sink, that U-shaped bend of pipe, holds a plug of water in it around the clock. That water plug is there to block sewer gas from coming up into your bathroom, and it blocks ants just as well. An ant cannot walk through standing water inside a pipe. What they are doing is coming through the wall. Behind your vanity there is a wall void, which is the hollow space between the drywall and the outside sheathing where all your pipes run. Somebody drilled holes through the framing to get the hot and cold supply lines across, and drilled another hole through the drywall to get them into the cabinet. Those holes are always bigger than the pipe. That is on purpose, so the pipe can move a little without squeaking against the wood. A 1/4 inch gap around a supply line is a front door for an ant, and there is usually a second one where the drain arm passes through. From that gap, they walk up the back of the cabinet, over the countertop, and into the sink. Sometimes they skip the counter completely and use the overflow hole, that small oval opening near the top of the basin. Behind that opening is a hollow channel that loops down through the porcelain and ties into the drain below the stopper. It is dark. It stays damp. And I have never once met a homeowner who had cleaned it. Before you mix anything, make sure you are actually dealing with ants. If the thing coming out of your drain is small, fuzzy, gray, shaped like a tiny moth, and it sits flat on the wall above the sink instead of marching in a line, you have drain flies. Different bug, different fix, and this bait will do absolutely nothing to them. Now back to that can of spray under your cabinet. It works exactly as advertised. It is a contact killer. It drops an ant in about 4 seconds, and the counter looks clean 2 minutes later. That speed is the entire problem. Do the math on a colony. For every ant you can see out foraging, roughly 90 to 99 of them are sitting at home in the nest. Odorous house ants and pavement ants, which are the two you are most likely fighting in an American bathroom, run colonies in the thousands, and the mature ones run into the tens of thousands with more than one queen laying eggs the whole time. When you spray the counter, you kill the visible 1%, and you leave the factory running at full speed. The queen does not even notice. She replaces those workers in a few days. There is a second problem with the spray that nobody mentions. Some of those products leave behind a repellent residue on the surface. When the trail gets cut by that residue, certain species respond by splitting the colony and starting a satellite nest somewhere else in the house. You can spray your way from one ant problem into 2 of them. So let us talk about what this costs, because that is usually the point where a homeowner picks up the phone. A residential pest control contract in most of the country runs $300 to $500 a year. That is typically an initial visit somewhere between $150 and $250, then quarterly visits after that. For a heavy infestation in a house with real structural problems, that money is well spent. And later on I will tell you exactly when I think you should make that call. But understand what you are buying on a straightforward ant job. The technician is not doing anything exotic. He is placing bait. He may be running a gel bait with a different active ingredient, and he has access to products you cannot buy at the hardware store. But the strategy is the same one I am about to hand you. Slow-acting bait, carried home by the workers, delivered to the colony from the inside. And understand the renewal math on that contract. $300 to $500 is not a one-time charge. It renews every year for as long as you keep the service, whether the ants come back or not. The version you can mix tonight out of a box of borax and the sugar already sitting in your cabinet costs about $2, and that box of borax will last you years. That is the honest comparison. Same strategy, a fraction of the price, and you handle the placement yourself. Quick pause. If this kind of fix is useful to you, I put 50 more like it in a book called 50 Easy Plumbing Fixes that will save you $10,000. Everyone is a step-by-step repair. You can finish on a Saturday with basic tools, and everyone tells you when a contractor is overcharging you. Scan the QR code on your screen. So what is borax actually doing once it gets inside that nest? Borax is sodium tetraborote, a white powder sold as a laundry booster for well over 100 years. It sits on the cleaning shelf of almost every grocery store for around $5 a box. At low concentration in a sugar solution, borax works as a slow stomach toxin. An ant that drinks it does not fall over. She goes about her day, and over the next 24 to 72 hours, the borate interferes with her digestion and her metabolism. She dies quietly, usually back inside the nest. That delay is the whole mechanism, and it works because of how ants eat. Ants feed each other mouth to mouth. A forager fills what amounts to a social stomach, a crop where she carries liquid food without digesting it, and back at the nest she brings it up and feeds the ants around her. Those ants pass it along again, from foragers to nurses to larvae, and eventually to the queen, who never leaves the nest and never once touches your countertop. So a cotton ball sitting on a bottle cap next to your bathroom sink can reach a queen living inside your wall. You never have to find the nest. You let the colony carry the problem home for you. Now the honest part, and this is where a lot of videos will lie to you, this takes 1 to 2 weeks. You should see a real drop in traffic by day 4 or 5, a serious drop by day 7, and the last stragglers gone between day 10 and day 14. Large colonies with several queens can run 3 weeks. Anybody promising you a homemade bait wipes out a colony overnight is selling you something. Spray kills in 4 seconds and solves nothing. Bait takes 2 weeks and ends it. The mix is 3 ingredients, and the ratio matters more than people think. 1/2 cup of sugar, 1½ tablespoons of borax, and 1½ cups of warm water. Stir until the sugar and the borax are fully dissolved and the liquid runs clear. Warm water matters because borax does not dissolve well in cold water, and grit sitting in the bottom of the jar is borax that never makes it into an ant. Do not strengthen it. I know the temptation. If 1.5 tablespoons works, 3 tablespoons ought to work twice as fast. It does the opposite. Push the concentration up, and your foragers die on the counter before they make it back through the wall. And worse, ants can detect a bait that is killing their sisters and will stop feeding on it completely. You will have taught the colony to avoid the one thing that was going to fix your problem. Weak and slow wins this job. Soak cotton balls in the liquid until they are heavy, and set each one on a bottle cap or a jar lid, so the sugar water is not sitting on your countertop. 3 or 4 stations is plenty for one bathroom. Placement is where people go wrong. Do not put the bait where you want the ants to be. Put it where they already are. 1 station within a few inches of the drain or the overflow hole where you see them coming out, 1 out on the trail itself, and 1 right where the trail disappears, at the baseboard or the gap behind the vanity. And leave that trail alone. I mean it. Every instinct you have is telling you to hit the counter with a disinfectant wipe and erase the line. Not yet. That pheromone trail is the delivery route between your bait and the queen. Wipe it down and you have cut your own supply line, and the ants spend 2 days rebuilding it before your bait does anything. 2 things to expect once the stations are down. For the first day or 2 you will see more ants than you had before, sometimes 3 or 4 times as many. That is recruitment. A forager found a food source she thinks is spectacular, went home, and told the whole neighborhood. That surge is the best sign you will get that this is working. Second, refresh those cotton balls every 3 or 4 days, because dried out cotton is a station the ants walk right past. While the bait does its work, you close the buffet. This is the plumbing half of the job, and skipping it is why some people repeat this exercise every spring. Start with the biofilm inside the drain. Take a stiff nylon bottle brush, work it down past the stopper, and scrub the inside wall of the pipe. You want that gray-brown film off the sides, not just loosened. Pull the stopper out first if it lifts free, because the underside of a pop-up stopper collects more film than anything else in the sink. Then pour about 1/2 cup of 3% hydrogen peroxide down the drain. The plain brown bottle from the pharmacy, and let it sit 30 minutes with the water off. It foams, it breaks down what the brush loosened, and it takes the sour odor with it. Flush with hot water afterward. Do not skip the overflow hole. Grab a squeeze bottle or a turkey baster, squirt peroxide into that oval opening, and let it run down through the channel. Some of the worst drain odor and the most stubborn ant traffic I have found in a bathroom was living in that channel, and nobody ever thinks to look there. Last, close the door they came in through. Open the vanity cabinet, get a flashlight, and look at where the supply lines and the drain arm pass through the back wall. If you can see daylight, drywall dust, or a gap you could slide a dime into, seal it. Silicone caulk handles a small gap, expanding foam a big one, and steel wool packed in tight before you caulk over it handles the ones that keep reopening. A tube of caulk runs about $4, and that gap has probably been open since the house was built. Now the safety talk, because this bait is a poison and I am not going to soften that for you. Borax bait is toxic if a dog, a cat, or a small child eats it. And sugar water is exactly the kind of thing a curious toddler puts a finger into. If a child or a pet can get into that bathroom, do not set open cotton balls on the floor or the counter. Build a closed station instead. Take a small plastic container with a snap lid. Poke holes in the sides near the bottom, big enough for an ant to walk through. Drop the soaked cotton inside and put the lid on. The ants get in. The dog does not. Label the mixing jar. Keep it out of the kitchen. Wash your hands after you handle it, and never mix it in something you plan to eat out of later. Borax irritates skin and eyes, so wear gloves if your hands are sensitive. Now the part I told you to stick around for, and this is the one that actually costs money. Look carefully at the size and color of the ant. If it is small, dark, and roughly the length of a ballpoint pen tip, you have a nuisance ant, and everything I just gave you handles it. If it is big, 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch long, solid black or black with a reddish section, and it moves slow and deliberate, you may be looking at carpenter ants, and the whole story changes. Carpenter ants do not eat wood. They excavate it, hollowing out smooth galleries to nest inside. And they only excavate wood that has gone soft, which means wood that got wet and stayed wet. A carpenter ant colony inside your bathroom wall is a moisture report with legs. Look for coarse sawdust that resembles pencil shavings, usually piled at the baseboard under the vanity or behind the toilet. That debris has a name in the trade: frass. And listen at night, because a large carpenter ant colony working inside a wall cavity makes a faint rustling sound, like paper being slowly crumpled behind the drywall. If you find frass or hear that sound, stop thinking about bugs and start hunting water. The usual suspects are a supply line weeping at the compression fitting behind the vanity, a failed wax ring letting water out around the toilet flange on every flush, a shower pan or cracked grout line feeding the framing, or a drain arm leaking slowly at the slip joint. Any one of those keeps a wall cavity damp for years without ever putting a stain on the ceiling below. The bait still helps, but if you kill that colony and leave the leak alone, another finds the same soft wood a year or two later. Fix the water, and your house stops being attractive to them permanently. A few things that go sideways, and what each one is telling you. If the ants walk past the bait for 2 straight days, the colony is hunting protein instead of sugar. Colonies swing between the two through the season, hard toward protein in spring when the queen is producing larvae, back toward sugar in summer. If everything goes quiet for 2 weeks and then a fresh trail shows up in a different room, you did not fail. You killed one colony and a second moved into the vacancy. Or you took out a satellite nest while the parent sits out in the yard. Rebought and walked the outside of the house looking for a mulch bed or firewood stacked against the foundation. As for handing this to somebody with a license, call a professional if the ants show up in 3 or more rooms at once, if you have confirmed frass and cannot locate the moisture source, or if you have baited correctly for 3 full weeks with no reduction at all. Those mean the nest is somewhere you are never reaching with a cotton ball, and $300 is cheaper than the framing repair you buy yourself by waiting. Bonus tip, and this is the one that rescues a bait job that looks like it failed. Run 2 baits side by side. Put your sugar bait on one bottle cap, and on a second cap next to it, work about a tablespoon of peanut butter together with a 1/4 teaspoon of borax into a paste. Now you have a sugar station and a grease station sitting inches apart, and you let the colony tell you what it is hungry for. Come back in 2 hours and see which one has the crowd on it. Load up on the winner and pull the other. It costs 3 extra minutes and takes the guesswork out of the job. One last thing. The book I mentioned, 50 Easy Plumbing, Fixes That Will Save You $10,000, exists so you stop paying somebody $200 to do a repair that takes you 20 minutes. Scan the QR code on your screen to grab it, and subscribe to the Mark Silverbridge channel, where I keep showing you the honest fixes that keep your money in your own pocket.